Hey guys, it's Cerulean Jake bringing to you the final episode of the VGC Pals Draft League Season 2. We're going to be covering the semifinals as well as the finals here. In our first semifinals, we have the Caribbean Suns versus the San Diego Superiors, followed up by the Uptown Ursalunas versus the team with no name led by Obi. This is certainly going to be a bunch of matches that you don't want to miss out on. So, stick around and check them out. Let's start things off with the Caribbean Suns versus the San Diego Superiors. And we are live with the first semifinal match of the VGC Pals Draft League. We have Pizza Guy with his Caribbean Suns versus Snake Eyes and San Diego Superiors. It looks like we have a fairly normal team going on here for Pizza Guy. A little bit hard to remember because I look over at the name and it's Shit Tier Pro. We got a fairly normal team going on for him. We do have the Halucha instead, which is interesting knowing that his opponent is known for going for that Blizzard spam. We also have a lot of very bulky stuff going on over on Snake Eyes' team. It's going to be very hard to break through, especially if he can get that Aurora Veil going. Taking a look over here at the Terra types, obviously we have the Ogerpon of Grass. We got Terra Electric, Terra Fire, Steel, Dark, and Fighting is interesting. Might be going for a harder hitting close combat, trying to break the Gudra, potentially. We have the Therian Amorous, Ghost Stellar, Water. Had kind of a pattern going on there for a minute. Water makes sense. We just going the generally good set. Stellar on the Iron Bundle also makes some good sense. Just trying to get some good damage, make sure we secure those kills at the end there. And we are going, here we go, Talonflame and Baxcalibur, gonna go for some sort of Tailwind. Ninetales and Chi-Yu. Looks like this is not the greatest pickup for Snake Eyes here. Chi-Yu looks okay, but if we try to hit that Baxcalibur with a fire type move and we don't kill it, then we're risking the what's it called, thermal exchange. Then again, it is entirely possible that knowing he would be going against a snow team, he went for Ice Body so he can get that leftovers recovery. We'll have to find out. What are the moves going to be? We got a Dark Pulse coming in, doing 50%. A Taunt coming out to stop the Ninetales from going Aurora Veil. This Scale Shot is going to do some major damage, but it's not quite going to secure the kill. We didn't get a max roll on 2 of our attacks. But we do have a speed boost now, potentially faster than the Chi-Yu. That said, the Chi-Yu is known for running Choice Scarf, so even on a +1, it is entirely possible that Baxcalibur is not outrunning this thing. We do have the option for Talonflame, now that it's gone for Taunt to shut down the Ninetales. Talonflame could just go for a Tailwind. He's going to fully pivot out. The Ice Shard comes out, that would have killed, and then a Flare Blitz doing some major damage to the Gudra. It's a very tough switch. Honestly, I think it actually would have killed looking at it. The Intimidate came through and lowered that Talonflame's attack, and it still did 80%. Very, very scary. But we know that Talonflame no longer has Gale Wings active, so it's not going to be able to set up that Tailwind at a reasonable pace. But Baxcalibur is already moving quite quickly, so we don't necessarily need it right this minute. Tauros is fairly healthy, and we don't really have anything on this side of the field that is going to damage it for anything major, especially after the Intimidate. Talonflame could go for a Brave Bird, but given that it is no longer priority, might be a little concerned that it's going to die before it can do so. I do believe Talonflame has a better speed stat. Let's go ahead and check it out. 195 to 167. Yes, it is faster than the Tauros, so we're mainly watching out for an Aqua Jet here. Ninetales comes back out. The Scale Shot comes out, meaning it's not going for an Aqua Jet. Going to do some good damage, follow it up with a Brave Bird. That Tauros is gone. Pizza Guy is making great use of his lead here, knowing that he had the advantage against Snake Eyes at the very beginning. We got Ninetales back on the field. It is no longer taunted, but it is not fast enough to get an Aurora Veil. So Talonflame can easily taunt it once again. Here comes the Goodra. It's very low, not really going to be able to do anything. At this point, I think that Snake Eyes doesn't have very many options. He's going to have to break out some sort of plan that I can't even see. Alternatively, he might just need to go game 2 and take what he's learned here and be able to move forward and do something with it. He is going to secure the kill on the Baxcalibur with a Moonblast, be able to see what else Pizza Guy was wanting to bring in the back here. So let's see it. We know that the Chi-Yu is going to be coming out over on the side of Snake Eyes, so what does Pizza Guy have in the back? Taking his time here, wanting to consider what exactly do I want to show my opponent before going into the next game. He also could just have some connection issues, as we're seeing over in the corner there. Here we go, we have the Hawlucha. Chi-Yu comes back in, going to get that Beads of Ruin active, but it's not going to be enough. Hawlucha is quite quick as it is. Then again, we do need to consider that just because Hawlucha is quite quick does not mean that everything else is not. We do not know the Chi-Yu's item just yet. Looks like Snake Eyes has already locked... Oh, never mind. It looks like he has unlocked his moves. Alright, we go for a Terra Ghost. Hawlucha is going for Protect. Talonflame goes for the Terra Fire. It's going to immediately lose itself. It is gone, and the Blood Moon comes out. We are down to our final Mons. We have brought this back just a little bit. The Icy Wind is not going to do anything. It only hits a protecting Hawlucha. So now we are in an interesting situation where we can click Blizzard, but it is no longer 100% active. It's a little bit scary. Vacuum Wave comes out, and the Chi-Yu is gone thanks to that, what's it called? Mind's Eye, allowing it to hit the Ghost type. Brick Break is going to do a solid amount of damage to the Ninetales, but Moonblast is showing that he obviously is not wanting to click that Blizzard, and this is going to be wrapped up quite quickly. Icy Wind comes out to drop that speed, but the Blood Moon is going to overwhelm the Ninetales, and this is over. Time for game 2. So, what adjustments are we going to see from Snake Eyes? We know that his lead did not work out into the Talonflame Baxcalibur. That incentivizes Pizza Guy to just go for it again. And honestly, looking into his team, it might be kind of hard for him to respond at all. That was a really strong start. That said, he does have a Fairy type on his side of the field, so if he can find a way to... I'm actually not seeing a Trick Room setter on his team, unless Enamorus itself is one. So getting those slow Pokemon up and running against his faster team might be a problem. I'm not entirely sure if Enamorus is going to be able to live 5 hits from an Icicle Shard. So that is worth considering. How exactly are we going to beat this? Maybe we lead the Tauros. Maybe that's the idea. Also have to consider, what if he changes his lead? I need to have something that is going to cover for just a little bit of everything. Pete's guy is going to opt to go with the exact same thing. We actually have the exact same leads for both of them. We know that this did not work out for Snake Eyes, so it's a little concerning. What exactly might he be planning? How is he going to turn this around? Even though last time it turned out very poorly for him. We do have some potential here. Now that he knows that Talonflame has Taunt, we might just go straight for some all-out damage on Baxcalibur. Looks like that's what we're going to do with a Heat Wave, followed up with a Flare Blitz, nearly killing the Ninetales, but it's not going to get it. And then the Moonblast comes out. Baxcalibur is down. That was exactly the plan. Smeargle comes in, meaning we probably know what's in the back here. An Ursaluna sitting in the back, ready to receive a Decorate. Smeargle might go for the fake out here. He would have to watch out for the Terra Ghost Chi-Yu, so he might opt for faking out the Ninetales just to secure the kill. But then, that would open up Chi-Yu to hit another heavy Heat Wave. What's it going to be? We have 15 seconds left. Ursaluna comes out. Is it going to receive a Decorate? The Terra Ghost, the Heat Wave comes in. Smeargle is sashed. The Spore is going to come out and get Chi-Yu to sleep. We're suddenly in a pretty good situation here. It's not perfect, though. If we want to kill Chi-Yu with Ursaluna, then we're probably going to have to go for a Decorate, as we do. The Dragon Pulse comes out, Smeargle goes down, Hyper Voice, not enough to kill the Chi-Yu, but we actually do get some good damage on the Goodra. We're able to advance the board state pretty well here. We do need the Chi-Yu to remain asleep if we're going to continue doing some good damage across the board. Tailwind comes out. Ursaluna is now moving quickly. And he's going to need to, as it is now Ursaluna Blood Moon against the world. But if there's any one Pokemon in this format that can do it, it might just be him. Hyper Voice might not be the way to go anymore if you're not wanting to take damage from that Goodra. But he may just go for the kill on Chi-Yu with the Hyper Voice while still chipping down the Goodra, getting it ready for a kill. It really comes down to what he's prioritizing here. Does he want to roll the dice with sleep or not? We don't know if Chi-Yu is locked here. The way that Snake Eyes has been behaving, it would seem that he is. Earth Power comes out, the Goodra goes down. Chi-Yu is still faster even after the Tailwind. Intimidate comes out, not that it really matters here. But with Tauros being in the back, this is a little bit scary. Tauros does do some really good damage. It's not super effective anymore, but it is some very hefty damage. Wave Crash could be enough. Here comes the Overheat, and that is going to be it. Ursaluna is gone. Looks like we have pretty well confirmed at this point that this is Scarf, as he needed to switch out in order to reset his move. Now, Pizza Guy is on the back foot, and he needs to come up with a way to deal with what he just saw going into Game 3. This is it. This is going to determine who can make it into finals. Sitting from Pizza Guy's position, I would have to be wondering, we have revealed the taunt tech, so we know that if we send out the same thing and he does the same as well, then it is entirely possible that we are going to lose our Baxcalibur turn 1. So, what are we going to do? Is it possible that we are going to see a change in leads? We have not seen the Ogerpon come to any of this. That is entirely possible because he sees that it's not a good matchup and he brought it for something else that was on his team that is not present. We have also not seen the Iron Bundle over on Snake Eyes come to any of these matches, which is interesting given that is probably one of, if not the strongest pickup that he has. Well, we're going to find out. It is the exact same lead from Pizza Guy, followed by the exact same lead from Snake Eyes. They both have a plan going into this. Snake Eyes probably thinking, I kind of want to do the same thing, but he obviously has a plan. So what is he going to do? Do I need to call that out, and how are we going to do it? It's possible that Baxcalibur is going to go for a Terrastal here, but if he does, then that Heat Wave is just going to do an insane amount of damage. I actually did not go back and look to see if the Baxcalibur has his signature ability. He does have Thermal Exchange, but the Ninetales is going to go down. We managed to get the kill with the Terrafire Talonflame. It mattered. Now the plus attack Baxcalibur is going to kill the Chi-Yu, and suddenly Baxcalibur is in a great position here. The Intimidate only bringing him down to his original attack stat, which is great to begin with. Gudra and Tauros not looking in a good position here. Talonflame has taken the Terra, and now that it is very low on health, it is possible to bring this back, but it is not looking good. We do have the Aqua Jet coming out from the Tauros, knocking out the Talonflame. We're going to get a miss on Scale Shot, and that is going to bring things perfectly even. Smeargle and Ursaluna Blood Moon in the back, but now Ursaluna does not have the Terrastal to be able to resist this Tauros. If Smeargle has Fake Out, then what can happen here is he can go for the Fake Out into the Tauros, and the Ursaluna can try to kill it with Blood Moon. Then we're in a situation. Does Tauros go down to it? We don't know that. It is entirely possible that Snake Eyes prepped, knowing that his Tauros may be taking a Blood Moon, and he prepped just enough bulk to be able to take it. He's very carefully considering his move here. Going to run out of time. He has to select something. Tauros goes for the Protect, and the Follow Me comes out from Smeargle. Going to eat up a Dragon Pulse. Blood Moon comes out, and it's going to get blocked by the Tauros. Looking like Smeargle did not bring the Fake Out. In a much worse situation here for Pizza Guy. Calling that turn wrong really just brutal for him. And it looks like he knows it as well. Trying to consider his options, he has 30 seconds to figure it out. Aqua Jet comes out, the Smeargle is gone. Ursaluna gonna eat an Ice Beam. Gudra doesn't even go down to an Earth Power, and that is going to be the game. We now have two Pokemon that can easily secure a kill here in an Ursaluna. Is going to be over with a close combat. GG, Snake Eyes has made it into the finals, and our prior champion has been felled. So, who is Snake Eyes' opponent? Well, let's get into the next game. And we are back once again with the VGC Pals Draft League semifinals. This time we are watching Sloan up against OB. live and in action. Game hasn't quite started yet, so a few thoughts I'd like to get out there. We have the Uptown Ursalunas with the hardcore Trick Room with some sun elements. Also being well defended with that Galarian Zapdos. Going up against OB's team of heavy hitters from VGC staples all the way down to just a simple Sneasel. A lot of things to consider here. What exactly are these contestants going to go for? I do have an exclusive scoop that we are going to be seeing the Electros coming out from the Uptown Ursalunas. So that is something exciting that we are going to get to see. Looking forward to seeing that. As far as what else we're going to see, obviously, we're definitely going to see that Ursaluna coming to the game. We are at a point where it is crunch time. We cannot afford to really leave behind the Ursaluna and try and surprise our opponent. So we got to take that powerhouse. We got to try to run the game with it. As far as everything else that we're going to see, just taking a precursory glance at OB's team, I think it would be a little surprising to not see the Galarian Zapdos. It has a pretty good matchup into most things. Primarily the Tornadus is the concern here. Everything else we do fairly well into. So I'd be a little surprised if we don't see it. I would actually be a little surprised if we saw Torkoal and Sunsetting going on from the Uptown Ursalunas, because OB has not just Ogerpon Hearthflame, but also the Gouging Fire that'll get Photosynthesis off of it. And then on top of that, Typhlosion Hisui. Just so much firepower that he would be handing over to his opponent when I'm not sure he's really ready to take that himself. So I think there's a big likelihood we won't be seeing the sun coming out, and with good reason. Over from OB, pretty much every time I look at this team, I kind of just look at the top 5 Pokemon and then say it's going to be these 5 Pokemon plus one other Pokemon that he thinks is best going to go against his opponent. That's generally speaking how I look at his team, because he's just so top loaded. Everything up in the top half of the draft is just so good, and everything in the bottom half is I was running out of points. So I think that's the likelihood of what we're going to see. Just very, very typical VGC staple team. Nobody stopped him from picking these up, so got a whole lot of what he was wanting. Definitely going to want to take that Urshifu and run away with the game. The Urshifu definitely has a great matchup into this, being able to pick up knockouts on things like Ursaluna, King Gambit. It also does a lot of damage to the Torkoal if it decides to come. And overall, just a very strong Pokemon in general. So definitely going to see the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Lots of cool things that could be coming here, and I look forward to seeing this game. So let's go ahead and skip to the match beginning. Okay, here we have it. We have Sloan versus OB. Taking a look at these teams, we have pretty much what I expected to see from OB. We do pretty well expect to see the top 5 Pokemon plus something that he thinks will be good into his opponent. Interesting that we see the Torkoal coming out from Sloan. He also said that he was going the Electros. Did I misunderstand? Oh, I took out the Eel. Okay, I did misunderstand. He is not going Electros. I am sure that'll be highly disappointing after I hyped it up. But regardless, I'm not sure that I like the Torkoal Jumpluff, but we shall see what exactly he can do with it. I am just a little scared that he is putting a little too much firepower in his opponent's hands, but you never know. Maybe he is able to leverage it much better than his opponent can. After all, he is the one who is in charge of it, so one would expect that knowing when Sun is about to activate is going to give you a significant advantage over the person who's just trying to abuse it from your opponent. We also have the Grimmsnarl. That is another good pickup for him. So Grim going to set up those screens most likely. But also carrying just a generally good matchup into a lot of these Pokemon. If he has Spirit Break, he has super effective on 3. That is 50% of OB's team. And it is neutral on all but 1. So the Grimmsnarl positioned pretty well here, I would say. Of course, we love getting all of these bulky and slow Pokemon behind some screens. Of course, we love the prolonging how long our Torkoal is able to stay out there and spam eruptions. We love our Ursaluna taking little to no damage and then pumping out one-shots. And then Cresselia, the unkillable beast, as it is, add screens on top of that. Next, of course, we have that Galarian Zapdos. I will say, not really surprised at all that we don't see the King Gambit here. All right, I'll just leave it at that. We're not bringing King Gambit. We are not surprised. So, Grimmsnarl Zapdos versus Palmont and Ogerpon. What are we looking to do here? The Palmont is a little bit of a question mark, so we could go for a Fake Out. I don't really know what else Palmont is really hoping to go for. Maybe a Nuzzle or something. The Zapdos and Grimmsnarl lead. Grim also wielding the Fake Out into this Ogerpon, who could try to take the attention away, but that kind of defeats the point of Palmont potentially going for a Fake Out if that's what it is going to go for. Shut up, Duolingo. It's not the time. Zapdos, I would say threatening a one-shot on either one of these Pokemon. I know it's not super effective on Palmont. It would only be neutral damage, but Zapdos just has so much damage followed up by that Brave Bird. You gotta wonder what OB is gonna do here. Our contestants taking their time, carefully considering their options. Of course, OB in that little bit of a sticky situation. Zapdos immediately threatening his team. Not exactly sure who he wants to switch into to be taking a Brave Bird of all things. Not exactly sure what else to say, if I'm being perfectly honest. I think I've pretty well laid out the circumstances of turn 1 here. Very, very carefully considering their options here. We do see the Fake Out come out from Palmont. Grimmsnarl getting the Reflect Up and Zapdos flinching. Grimmsnarl going to take a little bit of damage from the Ivy Cudgel, but thanks to that Reflect, going to be able to shrug it off. Now we know that the Fake Outs are off the table, so what is this Ogerpon going to do? It is guaranteed to be threatened by this Zapdos. I believe Zapdos being faster than the Ogerpon. It could be wrong. We're going to see the switch into Cresselia. Ogerpon goes for the Spiky Shield. Parting shot into the Palmont. Looks like we are setting up for a Trick Room play. We have Reflect Up. Cresselia is going to eat the Double Shock, leaving Palmont with just the Fighting type left. And it's going to eat it quite well, taking only 15%. Now Ursaluna is burned and ready to go. It does not need to take a turn to protect. A very powerful turn from Sloan. There is the off chance that Palmont could live in Earthquake here. It is highly unlikely, but it is entirely possible that it could, now that it is no longer a electric type. It is no longer an electric type, rather. Ogerpon also taking neutral damage from this, being the fire variant. Ursaluna just threatening so much against these two. It is possible that Ursaluna will still go for the Protect, knowing that Cresselia is wanting to get that Trick Room up. So we have to see what OB is going to call here. It is also entirely possible. Cresselia most likely going for the Trick Room here. That is the most obvious move. We'll see if that is the actual case. The Ursaluna does go for the Protect. It looks like we are going for that Trick Room, and Ursaluna is now ready to just wreak havoc on this team. OB in a horrible situation. Two turns minimum left on Reflect. Currently not showing any special attackers to get through the Reflect, because there is no light screen on the field just yet. No longer looking at Earthquake from the Ursaluna, but a Facade would easily get rid of this Tornadus within a single blow. The Ogerpon now has the Spiky Shield back up and ready, a guaranteed protect that it is able to do here. Having spent a turn with the Ivy Cudgel, slowly chipping down this Cresselia, probably fishing for crits. Trying to get past that Reflect. It's very oppressive. This is a very, very solid turn one from Sloan. Obviously very planned out. Tornadus in a very dire situation here, not really sure what it's hoping to accomplish. Realistically, I think the best thing it could really do is just try and click a Bleak Wind Storm. It's probably the most amount of damage that you can get into Ursaluna. Not really any other Rankster moves that you could use that would be helpful here. No Tailwind. I guess you could go for Taunt on Cresselia, trying to shut down any ally swap, any I don't remember what it's called. It's basically the Life Dew equivalent that Cresselia gets. It's either Lunar Blessing or Lunar Dance. It gets multiple lunar moves, and a lot of people get confused and put it on their team sheet wrong. Very tough thing when you're bringing Cresselia to an actual tournament. But we get the Terra Dragon. Ursaluna is going to one-shot with a Facade, and the Ogerpon is going to block the Psychic coming out from the Ogerpon. We see the Palmot coming back in, threatening that Fake Out. We now know that a turn of Trick Room is potentially just going to go to waste here. Most likely going into the Ursaluna, it is possible that OB could go for a very, very aggressive call here, going for the Fake Out and the Cresselia, calling that Ursaluna is going to protect here. But if Sloan is able to call that out himself, he could just go straight for the damage, knowing that his opponent cannot really damage him. He is Terra Dragon now. Ogerpon typically only carrying fire or grass type moves. Thus far, we know he has the Ivy Cudgel. We know he has the Spiky Shield. Very likely he is also carrying one of his typical grass type moves, that being Power Whip, Wood Hammer, and finally the safe option being the Horn Leech. Many options it could be going for here. The Cresselia probably very, very free to just go for whatever it would like here. Especially if it maintained that Covert Cloak from last time. The Fake Out going to be safe, going to go into the Ursaluna. The Lunar Blessing going to come out. It heals the burn, but that's going to get reapplied, so no big deal. And Ursaluna is once again at 100%, still behind a Reflect, revealing that we have Light Clay on the Grimmsnarl. This is not going to get any easier for OB anytime soon. OB once again, Ivy Cudgel fishing for those, fishing for those critical hits, but we are going to go right past that. Follow Me with an Earthquake, deals super effective damage to the Palmot. The Revival Blessing is going to come out, reviving the Tornadus. Now have a Tornadus in the back, half HP. Gonna need to be calling a judge here. My opponent just reached into his bag and used a revive in the middle of a competitive match. That is indeed cheating. OB, you are, we're watching you. You cheat again, you're out of here. But as it stands, Sloan, of course, in the driver's seat. Major damage coming down onto both of them. I thought Palmot was supposed to feign. Did it not? Oh, no, you're thinking of a different move. Yeah, he's never used Revival Blessing before. He thought that this was Oh, what is it called? Healing Wish. He thought it was Healing Wish. Or something similar to it, rather. The Close Combat's going to come out and not do a ton of damage to the Zapdos. The Trick Room is going to expire, so the Zapdos is actually out here now, ready to do some major damage. It is possible the Zapdos could be going for a U-turn here, take out one of these Pokemon, get rid of them, be able to go into the Ursaluna once again. Cresselia immediately setting up the Trick Room again. It is also possible that we could see the switch of Cresselia into the Grimmsnarl, looking to get the Reflect back up, but you can only stand in front of this Ogerpon for so long before it's finally going to hit a critical hit on you, go past that Reflect. You definitely want to get this Ogerpon out of here if you're in Sloane's position. Looking at it, pretty sure for Zapdos, what all do we know about this Zapdos? It is... it flinched and it switched. We know nothing about this Zapdos. It took a little bit of damage from something. It took a little bit of damage from Close Combat. We know that not only is Palmont not the greatest damage dealer in the world, we also know that it is hitting into a resisted target, so not really anything we can infer from that unless we were to run a calc. I would just say that the Zapdos looks fairly normal right now. Gotta wonder what the final member of OB's team is. He's obviously trying to maneuver it into a favorable position so he can sweep the rest of this game. Not over just yet. We did make it through the Trick Room. Ally Switch comes out and the U-turn, gonna take out the Ogerpon. When Palmont is gonna go for a Double Shock, hitting some pretty good damage into the Grimmsnarl, all things considered. But it is not going to kill it, especially because that Reflect, honestly, probably saving it. Actually, 33 and 31, it doesn't half the damage because it's doubles, so Grimmsnarl would have lived anyway, but only on a sliver. Revealing that Urshifu is in the back, that was definitely the most likely option. We're now in a situation where Urshifu is really needing to carry the whole world on his back. Not a whole lot of Pokemon on Sloane's side that have really taken that much damage. Grimmsnarl definitely going to be looking to try to shut down this Urshifu if it can. Either going for a Fairy-type move, which, if it does, will most likely result in it going down from the Surging Strikes, or, potentially, could go for a Fake Out if it has it. It did just come out this turn. We're about to find out. We go to the Terra Grass, and that is going to be a way to bring down this Urshifu. It is now paralyzed, and the Taunt coming out from the Urshifu. This is a tech we did not expect to see. Taunt trying to shut down that Trick Room from the Cresselia. Not even sure if it would work, because we don't know the item from this Cresselia just yet. Could be Covert Cloak, could be Mental Herb, you never know. But now this Urshifu is heavily hindered. At this point, you don't need Trick Room. You can very easily just take care of this thing with Zapdos. Really, I don't see a winning move from OB's side here. He could switch into Tornadus, predicting to eat this, that he's going to eat this Brave Bird coming up here. But then what? That's not going to be enough. Tornadus comes in on the left side. Urshifu going to be paralyzed. Parting Shot lowering the Tornadus' attack and special attack. Going to bring in some sort of partner. I'm not sure it's really going to matter which one. Zapdos very much threatening this Urshifu right now. It's what we all want to see. What is going to happen here? What all do we know from this Grimmsnarl? No Reflect, Parting Shot, and Thunder Wave. We got to assume that the last move is a damaging move. Brave Bird comes out, one-shotting the Urshifu. It is not a Sash. Zapdos is going to live it. Now Palmont comes out. Going to try to threaten with a Double Shock onto the Zapdos. But I mean, realistically, all you need to do is switch out into Ursaluna, and I mean, what's that going to do? Close combat, I am doubtful that that's going to get the kill. Fake Out comes out, trying to stop the Cresselia. We now know that it is not Covert Cloak. The Tornadus is gone. Palmot with literally 1 HP against the world, and that is going to be game 1 done. Sloan has taken the game. Going into game 2, we need to see what sort of adjustments OB is going to make, now knowing a lot of Sloan's sets, knowing what he's going to go for. There are quite a few things that he could try. We do see, looking throughout the team, that we have the Terra Dragon on the Regidrago. So going for all-out damage there, and the only thing that can really stop it would be the Grimmsnarl, I would say. And the Grimmsnarl showing that it only has 1 slot left for it to potentially have a fairy type move. If it doesn't have an attacking move at all, then it is entirely possible that Regidrago plus Torn could just run this match. Granted, I will give it this. There is also the possibility that Grimmsnarl's final move, if it's not an attack, it could be Light Screen, covering for that option of the Regidrago, be able to shut down that dragon energy. It'll still do quite a bit of damage, but not securing any kills anytime soon. We will just have to see what Sloan and OB have elected for in their leads to get an idea of the pace of this game. Now, assuming that I have a little more time to talk here, I suppose if I were in OB's position, what would I be considering? Obviously, I'm looking at his team and I'm thinking, okay, Urshifu's in a great position here to just do so much damage. Major thing we need to take care of is we gotta get rid of that Zapdos. It is Terra Stellar, so we know that it is always going to be a flying and fighting. So, how do we take care of that? I don't really know which is faster. I don't know if Palmot or the Zapdos is faster. Maybe if I was paying closer attention, I would have noted that. But I don't know the base speeds of either of these Pokemon. I should know Zapdos's because that is an actual threat that you see commonly. Realistically, from OB, you're just looking for a way to take care of this Zapdos and then trying to maneuver this Urshifu into position where it can just run roughshot, and it really just, it's a very tough situation because, I mean, you're not even guaranteed to get kills on everything that you attack. Ursaluna is a very bulky Pokemon, and it has the Terra Dragon, so weirdly enough, your best move into Ursaluna would actually be the close combat, which if it does not take the KO, is only putting you in a position to get one shot. On the inverse, a different matchup, we have the Torkoal matchup, where you're probably not taking the kill, even with that super powerful Surging Strikes. Sure, we are one of the most broken Pokemon to be released into the VGC landscape. But I mean, it's Torkoal. We're setting Sun, and we are just highly defensive. The likelihood that Urshifu is just taking a kill is very low. We are going to see the same lead, Grimmsnarl and Zapdos coming out from Sloan, but we do see the adjustment from OB. We have Gouging Fire Ogerpon, the booster energy coming out, boosting up Gouging Fire's speed. Very interesting. Looks like we could be going a Howl set. That would be my prediction. Ogerpon probably looking to one-shot one of these Pokemon. However, Grimmsnarl threatening that Reflect, going to try to shut down that Ogerpon before it can really get rolling. Zapdos also, of course, threatening major damage on the Ogerpon, probably before it can even move. So once again, Ogerpon lead has really just shot ourselves in the foot. OB not in a good situation. Terrastellar Zapdos going to also terrestrialize the Ogerpon. The paralysis coming out on the Gouging Fire, and the Brave Bird going to one-shot the Ogerpon with a critical hit. I am very interested to know if that was a guaranteed kill through the Terrastellar and the Terra Fire. Not sure. We, of course, do not know the EV investments of either of these Pokemon, so can't be certain. Ogerpons do have a tendency to build a little bit of bulk, especially if they are going Follow Me, which I believe in fact I know, we have seen Follow Me on the Ogerpon, so a little bit of bulk could have gone a long way. But we don't know. Sloan, very confident the crit did not matter with that Terrastellar. But now, OB in a very tough situation, not exactly sure what he's going to do. Sloan saying that he has the calc and is a very, very low % chance to survive, if it is the set that he is assuming. You never know. But OB in very, very dire straits. His Gouging Fire has some plus damage, but that speed has been neutered. What exactly is he going to do to get himself back into this game? We see the Palmot coming out, trying to get a kill on that Zapdos. Probably that Urshifu in the back. Can this Palmot secure a kill on the Zapdos? The likelihood is no, because that Grimmsnarl not only packing the Reflect, but on top of that, Zapdos can very easily switch out here, save itself for later, go straight into the Ursaluna, and now we are suddenly in danger. Urshifu is not free to sweep because we always have the Zapdos in the back. Very, very tough situation from OB. Just hoping that something will happen and that Sloan will blunder this Zapdos and free up that Urshifu. It's 83 to 98%, so it looks like, assuming that OB knows Zapdos's damage, which he probably does, given that Zapdos is he probably just calculated it to be max damage. It looks like that crit actually did matter. Very rough happening when he is already on the back foot in the semifinals. Man, oh man, I'm going to need a long song for this one to be able to make it through all these battles. Doing a lot of calcing, a lot of considering, a lot of talking. Definitely being tested as a commentator. So what else can we do with this Gouging Fire? We are in a situation, we know what this set is. It is plus speed with the intention of being able to get howls on to your partner, but that does not mean that Gouging Fire cannot use the damage himself. So we are expecting to see some heat crashes coming out, doing some pretty major damage. Potentially also the breaking swipe. We do know that our opponent has Grimmsnarl, so we may not want to go for that. We would only be hitting whatever happens to be in the right slot there. The Cresselia going to come out, fake out, stopping whatever the Grimmsnarl was going for. It looks like it was a Reflect, given the priority brackets there, and the Gouging Fire is going to get paralyzed, not be able to move. There's 2 turns in a row of some pretty bad luck, but you gotta expect that those paralyses are going to hit from time to time. So we kind of just At this point, we kind of just hope that that was it, that this was the turn that the paralysis is going to hit, and that Gouging Fire is going to be able to pull it through. No more paralysis, fully paralyzed anymore. Otherwise, frankly, OB just can't recover from this. Definitely going to look for whatever option we have, though. We know that Cresselia can no longer terrestrialize into a fairy type, so a dragon move into that slot is perfectly fine. If we have the Dragon Claw, Outrage would be a very, very risky selection, I will say. Most likely not going to be seeing that. Most Gouging Fires don't anyway. Most likely just looking to get either another Howl or could be going for a Heat Crash. We're going to see right here, Double Shock comes out and a Heat Crash comes out, and it's just not enough. Reflect just carrying so much weight, shutting down, I believe, a third of the damage that would have been dealt. I don't know, let's just say it would have been, it looks like the Cresselia would have still lived, but it would not be healthy. We do know that the Gouging Fire is still faster than the Cresselia. Cresselia looking to be minimum speed here, being a Trick Room setter, of course. Gouging Fire doesn't even... It's not looking to get a kill on the Cresselia through that Reflect. This Cresselia is just perfectly safe to go for whatever it wants. It's so tough of a situation, and honestly, he's just going to have to be the better player. I don't know how you get through this. Revival Blessing, going to bring back that Ogerpon. Going to be one of our ways that we could potentially get through this. The Breaking Swipe going to come out, going to hit the Zapdos, which is not a great idea with that Defiant. Zapdos going to heal up all the damage that he just took and walk away with a +1 to his attack. Things just keep getting worse and worse for OB, but this time we now have a half-health Ogerpon in the back. So that is good. We are threatening critical hits with the Ivy Cudgel, be able to get through that Reflect. We do know we have a whole 6 turns we're going to have to get through. We have not shown any way to break it, such as a Brick Break or a Psychic Fangs. I don't even think anything on his team could do Psychic Fangs, maybe the Gouging Fire. But we are showing that we are a very typical set here on the Gouging Fire. We got Howl, Heat Crash, and the Breaking Swipe. We have the Regidrago in the back, which is just going to die! The Brave Bird takes it down! Wow. I mean, it's good that we have... It's good that we have Ogerpon in the back, but losing a full health Regidrago is just brutal. Ogerpon going to be able to come back in here. We know that the Ursaluna is not burned. However, it is in a great situation that it could just go for an attack. It does not need to protect here. So OB has to call it right. Is he going to go for some damage right off the bat? Or is he going to try to play safe, go for a Spiky Shield, go for a Howl? Not entirely sure, but getting through this Reflect is going to be tough work. Ursaluna is going to go for the Protect, and the Woodhammer is going to come out into Cresselia. Probably not the best option. You are simply sacrificing your own HP. An Ivy Cudgel definitely would have been a much better choice there. Trying to break through that Trick Room with a crit, or excuse me, the Reflect with a crit. That Spiky Shield going to save us from the Earthquake, but nothing can be done for that Gouging Fire. The Gouging Fire is now gone. Palmot comes out, threatens a Fake Out, but Ursaluna has Protect back and ready. We are at a situation where it is simply just over. So many things would need to go right for OB here that it's really just, it's not recoverable. Psychic gonna come out, kill the Palma. We went for the safe Fake Out. We're gonna continue going for the Woodhammer, which is just not the right choice. OB admitting defeat. Sloan going to go into the finals of the VGC Pals Draft League with a very convincing win. Looking at it, I would say that the critical hit put OB on the back foot, but I don't believe that it was the only thing that led to victory here. After all, we did see the Ogerpon get back up on its feet and back out onto the field. So, personal opinion, I do think that this is a well-fought and well-earned victory. Going into the finals, we are going to see quite the slugfest between Snake Eyes and Sloan. So, let's jump into it. And this is it. We're here. The final match of the VGC Pals Draft League. First up, we have Snake Eyes with the San Diego Superiors. He has an amazing team of Blizzard Spam plus Chi-Yu. A very powerful team, and that has gone undefeated up to this point. Will he take home the gold without a single match loss? We're going to find out today. But his opponent here to challenge that, we have Sloan leading the Uptown Ursalunas. Of course, with his lead star, Ursaluna. Followed up by a nice supporting cast of Trick Room users and a couple Pokemon outside of that, just to make sure he has options. These two rosters have some stellar Pokemon on them, and I am very excited to see their matchup and who exactly is going to come out victorious and the champion of the VGC Pals Draft League Season 2. I think without further ado, we should just jump right into it. So let's get going. And here we are, the final match. Sloan versus Snake Eyes. We have what seems to be a pretty typical team coming from Sloan here. We have the Ursaluna as the lead captain here, but we also have the Sun option. Of course, that Galarian Zapdos there to protect the Ursaluna from any intimidates, though it looks like we didn't bring any on the opposing side. Grimmsnarl here is a nice little fake out support, as well as some screen setting possibly. On the opposite side, we have a little bit of screen setting ourselves from Klefki. Some Trick Room options into Sloan's team, that being the Goodra as well as the Therian Enamorus. And then we have, of course, have the Blizzard spamming duo with the Chi-Yu next to them that can bring down that special defense. A very dangerous combo indeed. Honestly, both of these teams look especially dangerous, and they are raring to go. So, who exactly are we going to be leading with? We're starting things off with the Galarian Zapdos and the Grimmsnarl versus Klefki Chi-Yu. So, what exactly are we expecting from these? The Galarian Zapdos immediately putting on a lot of pressure, could easily take a kill on the Chi-Yu here. Off the top of my head, I don't know their speed tiers. I know Chi-Yu not as fast as the Chien-Pao, but that's not going to matter here. We got two Terra Waters. The Misty Terrain is going to go up, as well as a Light Screen. The Pranksters getting their stuff out of the way. Brave Bird going to do some good damage, same as Chi-Yu, going to do some good damage to the Galarian Zapdos there. Trading blows, but the Light Screen is going to protect the Zapdos from going down. A very explosive turn one. Terrastle's already in play. Brave Bird, that the Zapdos has been known for clicking all season. Very much ready to threaten a kill here. It did do over half. Going to switch out into the Enamorus. The Reflect's going to come up for the Klefki there. Parting Shot's going to come out. Going to lower that Enamorus' damage potential. Going to switch out here. Going to see what we have. We have Cresselia, probably meaning we have the Ursaluna in the back. That Brave Bird not going to do a ton of damage to the Enamorus thanks to that Reflect. However, the Enamorus sort of dead in the water, not really able to do a bunch of damage here thanks to that Parting Shot. Playing a very defensive game from both sides here. Not ready to just throw in straight into all-out damage. You have to see what we're wanting to do here. Klefki possibly looking to set up another layer of screens, but Reflect is the most important one here, as we have seen 3 of the members, and we can assume that Ursaluna is the final one. Ursaluna, of course, being threatened by those dual ice types, so not entirely sure that it'll be them. The Brave Bird actually going to do a decent amount of damage there, and the Foul Play is going to come out to finish off that Zapdos. Going to trade a little bit of damage between the Cresselia and the Enamorus. Not a whole lot going on. We're going to reveal that the final slot is actually the Torkoal, not the Ursaluna. Probably a wise decision considering the 2 ice types in the back. That Sun coming out. Now a Trick Room would be good here. Set up some Eruption spam. From the looks of it, Eruption would be a good option into pretty much everything here. Knowing that Chi-Yu is at half, would still do some good damage. Gonna go for the Protect. This probably looking to be the Trick Room here. The Trick Room does go up, but the Klefki has Rain Dance, a tech option obviously meant to stop this Torkoal from taking over the game. He is no longer capable of absolutely destroying Snake Eyes' team. Great prep work on his part. Now Sloan in a tough situation where he needs to pivot around if he wants this Torkoal to be of any use. He also needs that Klefki to go down. Skill Swap going to come out. We're going to be able to fire off that Eruption thanks to the Skill Swap without needing to switch. That is going to re-trigger the Drought, which is a very smart technique. It is slower than the Torkoal, so we are able to get that off before the Torkoal clicks the Eruption. We are now into the Chi-Yu and the Iron Bundle. These 2 threatening some major damage, but unfortunately the Trick Room is up, so they're not going to be able to go first. They're going to have to take some major damage from the Eruption. I'm not really seeing how exactly Snake Eyes is hoping to get through this. The Eruption Sun boosted is likely just going to kill the Chi-Yu where it stands. Were it full HP, it might be able to live this, but it's not. Looks like game 1 is pretty well locked in here for Sloan, but you never know. Snake Eyes has been able to pull out victories all season long, so let's see what he's got. Really thinking through his options, not wanting to hastily click anything. Considering what he could do here. It is also potentially... never mind that. We're going to click the Moonblast, and then here comes the Eruption, going to take down the Chi-Yu. The Iron Bundle is going to live it, though, and the Hydro Pump is simply not enough. We now see what the item was for the Grimmsnarl. We know that it's the Light Clay. That light screen lasting a very long time. Going to try to stall out the Trick Room, it seems. That is his goal. But even if he does, this is looking very bleak. He does get the double protect. The Trick Room is going to go down, but it's not going to matter here. He's not going to be able to kill that Cresselia. He would need to get a freeze with the Blizzard. Or the Freeze Dry, either one. He's not going to get it, and that is going to be the game. A very good attempt from Snake Eyes there, landing the double protect, really giving him the slightest bit of hope to be able to continue on. We're going to need to see what adjustments he's going to make going into game 2 here. How exactly is he going to bring this back? Looking through his options, there's not a whole lot to go for here. It's very obvious that this Clef Key was key to his victory here, but now that he knows that the Cresselia has an option to shut it down, it's a little tough. Taking a look at the Terra types there, seeing all the water on both sides, a little comical. Going to sit here and consider very carefully what he can do. Could potentially go straight out into Chi-Yu and Ninetales, or Chi-Yu and Iron Bundle, looking to get some good damage down. Alternatively, could try something that he hasn't revealed yet. Gonna go with the Grimmsnarl and the Cresselia this time. Klefki gonna come out, and Chi-Yu, same lead from Snake Eyes. Seemed like he's got a plan on how he should handle things differently. Is the adjustment from Sloan going to be enough to throw Snake Eyes off, and that his new plan isn't going to work? Going to have to see what happens here. The Zapdos is no longer threatening the Chi-Yu here. Terra Water going to come out for the Cresselia, hoping to stop the instant kill from the Cresselia, or instant kill from the Chi-Yu. But the Heat Wave is going to miss, and the Trick Room is going to go up. Of course, the Klefki and the Grimmsnarl exchanging screens, whichever one's most important to them. Now needing to carefully consider how exactly he's going to deal with this. Misty Terrain is going to go up, going to stop any status conditions from coming out, and they're going to double target into the Chi-Yu, trying to get it low and in kill range. The Grimmsnarl will go down, but here comes the Ursaluna. Ursaluna now ready to just start firing off attacks. Nothing here really threatening him all that much. He doesn't need to wait for the burn. Of course, the Misty Terrain is active, so I'm not exactly sure how that interacts with Flame Orb. It's entirely possible that Flame Orb will be prevented by the Misty Terrain, and that's why it's here. An interesting technique coming out from Snake Eyes, something I would not have thought of. Enamorous Theory, going to get the double switch. Enamorous Theory and Gudra coming out to the field. Headlong Rush going to go into the Gudra. A very good call from Sloan, dealing a ton of damage. Looks like it would have been preferable to switch the slots in which these two came out in. Snake Eyes in an even more unfortunate position here, not having a great matchup into this Trick Room team. Very much struggling, not having many answers. The Moonblast not going to take the kill on the Gudra, and the other Moonblast not going to take the kill on the Ursaluna, but going to do a lot more damage. The Life Dew is going to come out. Gudra now healing up the Enamorous, going to stop the Gung Shot from one-shotting the Enamorous here. Something not exactly that you would expect from an Ursaluna. Obviously a tech to take out this Enamorous specifically. Very well prepped by Sloan. The Trick Room only has a turn left. Snake Eyes is doing his best to survive. He needs one more turn of Trick Room. It is possible he could go for a double protect here, try to stall it out, but now he has two slow Pokemon on the field. Not exactly sure how the speed tiers are going to work out. Flying type going to come from the Gudra, hoping not to get hit by a ground type move. The Dazzling Gleam going to come out, going to finally kill that bear, and a Shelter going to raise up that defense, possibly going for a body press strategy here. Now the Torkoal is in. There is no Trick Room. However, this Cresselia is very bulky and still near full HP. There's not going to be an easy way to kill this thing before the Trick Room comes up, and the Torkoal could easily click a Protect. That's exactly what he's going to do. The Life Dew going to come out, heal up the Enamorous and the Gudra. Enamorous going for the Earth Power on the Torkoal, obviously calling that he's going to be ballsy, not go for the Protect. But Sloan going to Just play it slow, play it smart, go for the easy protect, and Cresselia gonna get that Trick Room back up. We are now in a dangerous position for Snake Eyes. He has to live through another round of Trick Room, as well as a full HP Torkoal here that is ready to fire off essentially maximum speed eruptions. The Moonblast is going to do a little bit of chip damage to the Goodra, but it's going to be this eruption that finishes them both off. Snake Eyes now in a terrible position, not going to be able to stop this Torkoal. Klefki obviously not going to want to take an eruption here. Chi-Yu possibly could, but in the grand scheme of things, it's just not going to be enough. He would need to kill 3 Pokemon here, and he's not going to have the greatest of times. Moonblast going to come out, deal a little bit of chip damage to the Chi-Yu. The Klefki going to survive thanks to that Rain Dance tech. Dark Pulse going to shut down that eruption spam, but it is not enough to take them down. It is entirely possible that a skill swap is about to come in here. Skill swap would be slower than the Rain Dance. Instead, we're just going to go for the Moonblast and a Weather Ball into the Chi-Yu, a very good tech from the Torkoal, and that is going to be it. The champion has been crowned. Sloan VGC has brought it back. He may have not been the one that was undefeated, but he was able to keep it together, get to the playoffs, get through the playoffs, and ultimately, he is the one that has emerged victorious. Snake Eyes, you did an amazing job. And in the end, both of you deserve high amounts of props. What a great season we've had, and honestly, I had a lot of fun, not just playing in it myself, but also being able to see the playoffs here. It was a great time. I hope all of you at home were able to enjoy my commentary as well as the games themselves. I will see you next time for the next season of the VGC Pals Draft League, where I will be participating, and we will be doing this with the Champions meta. Will it take place in Champions itself? Who knows? You'll see.